Last week, I posted a poll on Instagram asking which of a few old box cameras I should try to shoot with first. The voting audience chose the oldest one, this Kodak Brownie Model 620. These were made from 1933 until 1941. I don't know the exact date on this example. The shutter is pretty much the only moving part on this little machine, and since that seemed to be working, all I really had to do was clean all the glass I could get to and re-glue the viewfinder mirrors, which had fallen out. This shoots 620 film, which is just 120 film on a different spool. The image format is 6x7, so you only get 8 frames per roll. It's not a high-resolution optical system, but the large negatives meant that contact prints were big enough to look at and small enough to hide how soft everything could be. The lens is a bit wide of normal and looks to me to have a similar field of view as a 35mm lens on a 35mm camera. If you're used to shooting APS-C, think about 24mm. Open yourself up a beverage, enjoy this little trip into the history of popular photography. The Kodak Brownie 620. This is your captain speaking. Buckle up, Buttercup. So I did manage to glue it to my thumb.
Turn it upside down.
Yay. So I need to take this expired roll of HP5 and unwind it from its plastic big chunky 120 spool and wind it onto this sleek, svelte and sexy 620 spool, because the film stock is the same, it's just the spool is smaller. You see how narrow all the little bits and bobs are, and if you try to cram the 120 spool into the camera, it'll jam, and if you try to just like cut off the edges of the 120 spool, it'll still probably jam. So I watched one video on YouTube, which I'll link to below, and I am now prepared to do this myself.
Are you gonna do it in light?
No, God no. I have this.
You could see.
This dark bag that I will be doing this in blindly, dumbly, and filled with sound and fury. I forgot tape, so I need to hold it very tightly or else the whole thing will come undone. So on to the next step, which is to find tape, I suppose.
Never drink alcohol in or near pool or other body of water.
Well, that's not gonna happen.
That's dumb. So we are now in the loading the film, which in theory should be basically like any other medium format camera. I should be less nervous than I am. However, the instructions are to do it.
Don't fuck up.
Yeah. So. Okay, goes like that. Then doesn't matter which side that is, probably this way, I would guess. It's like loading any other camera but worse, is what I can tell you. What the shit? Oh, wait, who would have thought do that? Genius.
No, there's an auto winder, right?
Right. Ah, shit. Oh no. There we go. Okay. This goes in. This little knob goes that way, which winds the film up, which is how it seems like it should work. So, shit. Pull that part out. Ready? Ka-chunk. And then in theory, I will be turning this. Okay, so that means we're getting close. And then at some point we should see a 1 in there. I still don't see a 1. Swear to God if I get it through this whole reel. Oh, all right, so we got part of an arrow that's like a countdown. Is that a number?
Slow movements, Lila.
This is not going to be usable.
That might be a frame. Oh, it's from 1934. What do you want?
This is the moment.
Pull your camera out of the bag.
Nicely done. I'm super nervous. The Canon T1 with... Ooh, the macro! I didn't even know you had that.
We got that a long time ago to do the recipe reviews.
Oh! We should do those again.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see if it's good for photography. Oh, sorry, your camera. Ready? Ba-da-bum, this box. Have fun. Half cleaned box.
So yesterday we took some pictures by the pool, and I didn't bother trying to meter anything because you have one shutter speed, which is shutter, and then you have two apertures, which are big and small. The big one's like f11 and the small one's like f16, according to one guy on the internet. So didn't seem like a whole lot of point. I just took a reading a second ago, and so it's expired HP5, which is a 400 ISO film. Because it's expired, I'm metering it for around 200. The shutter speed is allegedly near 1/50th of a second. So with all those things together, it said I should be shooting at f22, which I simply do not have. So I'm going for small.
It's backwards.
You're right. And I think I glued the mirror in slightly wrong, so we'll see how well this works. Ready? Steady?
Let's see whose is better.
See a lot of your own reflection in this viewfinder. Big part of the challenge is even figuring out what you're looking at. That might have worked. See if I should use big or small. Small. So looks like I only got 8 frames in this, which I guess means it's like a 6-7, and I didn't realize. So we'll find out for sure.
How do you get to the other side?
So the thing in LA is all roads lead to a bunch more fucking roads, and at some point it just kind of stops being fun. So we're going to go back into the woods and back to the car, and it'll be a bit of a short one, but it's either that or walk along this road for like 5 miles.
To get to more woods, but...
That we could just drive to, like these people. Alrighty, so now I have to get the film out of here, which is not that interesting in operation.
Wait, sorry. I'm so sorry. There are naked boobs in the background, and I don't want you to get censored.
So now it's time to get the film out of the camera, which is not generally that exciting in operation, but considering all of the many and various steps that went into loading it, I feel as if we may as well document this. That way, in case utter catastrophe occurs, I at least get a video out of it. So you pull out the little windy handle, Then you pull out this little thing on the top, and you pull out the whole camera, and, I don't know, de-glove it. Okay, so far so good. It is not wound very tightly, which is why we haven't turned the overhead lights on. And I'm going to shove this directly into this changing bag to hopefully maximize the chances of not ruining it. Real tank salt. I wasn't paying attention earlier because I was distracted by the whole rest of the process, but that is not a square frame, which is why there are only 8 shots on the roll.
Also, the viewfinder mirrors weren't square either.
True. There were not.
There were clues.
There were many clues. None were observed.
Good thing you framed everything so intentionally.
So, because it's HP5, we're just going to do DDX, standard time and dilution, which I actually don't remember off the top of my head. But there's this convenient chart on the other side of the bottle. HP5, 9 minutes. Woo! Let's see what we've got. So far so good. That's a frame. There are pictures. The ones by the pool in the shade look pretty good. The ones from today when it was brighter look pretty dense. I think the takeaway is if it's bright outside, use slower film. Which makes sense because the camera was designed probably around like a 25 ASA film as opposed to a 400, so, you know, guess you can't get too mad at that. Hang them up to dry, and maybe later this evening I can scan them. Also, I'm wet because I drank water, and apparently I have a drinking problem.